And in some breaking news coming in on the killing of top Lashkar commander Abu Dujana, telecom operators in Kashmir have been asked to suspend mobile internet services in the valley. This is a precautionary measure that is being taken by the security forces. All schools and colleges have also been shut in the valley in anticipation of any violent protests or any violence after the news of Abu Dujana's killing. Now we have Ashraf to tell us a little bit more. Ashraf, so that's what we're hearing. The internet services has been cut as a precautionary measure, and this is usually done, isn't it, after a successful encounter?
Yes, absolutely, Avantika. But here what we are witnessing that there are clashes going on between the security forces and protesters in different parts of the Kashmir now. It has started in even Srinagar. We have got some visuals from the Srinagar colleges where not only the boys but even the girls from the Women's College of Srinagar came out and started protesting against the security forces. This is a worry for the security forces as well as concern for the government here in the Jammu and Kashmir. We believe that after the long unrest, after the killing of Burhan Wani, probably there would be some kind of plug on these kind of protesters in the Kashmir Valley. But so far, we are not seeing that thing. That is why the police has now issued the advisory to its staff in the different parts of Kashmir that they should tackle these protesters tactfully so that there is less loss of life and there are less casualties. But so far we are witnessing that one civilian has already succumbed in the protesters in the Pulwama district. More than a dozen are injured in clashes in different parts of Pulwama district, and now these protesters starting in Srinagar. That is why the authorities have decided not only to clamp down the internet services, mobile internet services in the valley, but even have ordered the closure of colleges and schools today across Kashmir Valley, so that these kinds of clashes and protesters are avoided.
Well, he was categorized A++ by the army, Ashraf. He was the top commander of the Lashkar-e-Toiba, the mastermind behind several militant attacks. In your vast experience, reporting experience, Ashraf, from the valley, how significant is the killing of Abu Dujana for the security forces and for Kashmir?
Avantika, as far as the achievement for the security agencies is concerned, it is the biggest achievement after the killing of Burhan Wani here in the Kashmir Valley. He was the most wanted in the top list of the militants, which was recently formed by the security agencies in the Kashmir Valley. He had the bounty of 35 lakhs for his head. And one thing interesting, we have seen so far the militants have the survival period of 2 to 3 years maximum, and this is the longest surviving foreign militant in the Kashmir Valley so far we have seen. He infiltrated into Jammu and Kashmir in 2008, and since 2008 now long 9 years passed away and Abu Dujana was out of the security grid. That is why a specific operation was launched today early in the morning on the specific intelligence input, and in which this Abu Dujana has been now gunned down with his one of the associates. But big question still remains here, Avantika, that is, by killing these militant commanders and militants, will the militancy end in the Kashmir? That is also the worry with the government as well as with the security agencies. Basically what we are seeing in the recent times. But it's a step ahead in restoring peace, isn't it, Ashraf? It is a step in a positive direction. We have seen a significant dip in terror-related incidents and in stone pelting as well. Avantika, that is true, but probably how long? That is the big question, which has to be yet answered. We have seen there was some figures which are coming out day after day. Even they came before the Burhan Wani's killing that almost all militancy is under control. But within some time we saw the longest unrest in the Kashmir Valley. That is why now the security agencies have learned some lessons from the past experiences, and they are taking these preventive measures today. As far as the achievement for the security agency is concerned, the most wanted list which has been framed for the 10 most wanted militants active in the Kashmir Valley, so far 4 have been killed. Probably as the Jammu and Kashmir police briefed in the press conference that they are heading towards it. The person who is not going to let down the arms, who is not going to surrender, he has to face the same fate.
Absolutely. Just stay on with me, Ashraf. You know, we're going to talk about this major bit of news in detail in a bit for the benefit of our viewers who have just tuned in. This is news regarding the elusive terror commander Abu Dujana, who was gunned down earlier in the morning along with an Lashkar associate in a brief gunfight in Jammu and Kashmir's Pulwama district. Dujana, as Ashraf was telling us, carried a bounty of 10 lakh rupees and was one of the most wanted terrorists in Kashmir Valley. So it's a massive achievement for the security forces. There were 3 security forces involved in the entire operation: the army, the CRPF and the state police as well. The Pakistani origin terror commander was operational in South Kashmir since the last 5 years. So he has been the longest surviving militant and also successfully managed to give the security forces in the past a slip. The big success came earlier on after receiving a tip-off about his presence in a village in Pulwama. Forces, in fact, cornered about 12 houses in that particular village before finally zeroing in on a house where Dujana and his accomplice Arif Ahmed Dar were hiding. We've in fact been showing you the visuals of this house where those 2 terrorists were trapped inside, where they were reportedly taking refuge in and were hiding. That was attacked by the security forces. These are the visuals of that white house, that white building. We've been showing you how one could see white plumes of smoke rising from outside of the building. That's because this house was set ablaze. The clearing operations had been going on for quite some time. Dujana was instrumental in recruiting locals for the Lashkar and was the mastermind of several terror attacks across the state of Jammu and Kashmir, in particular in South Kashmir.
Sir, do tell us about the operations. There has been reversals in South Kashmir, but you've managed to actually turn the tide over, and now you've got the biggest man, Abu Dujana.
This year, as you know, almost 106 terrorists have been utilized, and the security forces, this is one of their biggest successes. Abu Dujana was the LET Kashmir commander, and he was among the longest operating terrorists, having infiltrated in 2010. So it is indeed a big success, and it was a joint operation of the army, the CRPF and the JK police, and it was intelligence based. There were some law and order problems, some mobs had collected and there was some stone pelting.
As you yourself were saying, for 7 years he's managed to give security forces a slip. What made Dujana really special, and why towards the end was he removed as a divisional commander of South Kashmir?
You see, as you are aware, the operations are an ongoing and the anti-militancy effort is an ongoing effort. And he was that is why it is such a great success that he had managed to evade the security net for so long. And he was also responsible for many of the attacks on the security forces, including one attack on the CRPF in June 2016 at Pulwama, where 8 of our boys had been martyred. So he was among the longest surviving terrorists, and that is why today's success is really a great achievement.
It is a great achievement, but do tell us, Dujana is a man who's known for stealth. He was not one of those who was very visible either at terrorist funeral. He was also mixing with the locals. He was also married to a local lady. We've been told the operation, I'm sure you would not want to give the details out, but that he was there to meet his wife. And in an earlier encounter just last month, he had managed to give a slip, getting even a bullet shot in his thigh. But yes, what is the modus operandi? Would you be able to share any details? We know this is about specific information. Anything that you can share with us on this encounter?
See, I would not like to comment on the intelligence part of it, but if you look at his record, he has been operating for a long time. He has been taking part in a lot of attacks on the security forces, and like I said, that it is an ongoing process, and today is the day that we got the success.
Today, as the co-commander has already said, we received information in the wee hours of the morning about their presence, and one thing which we did today, we tried hard to make them surrender. Announcements were made from mosques, and we tried to utilize the services of the house owner and the persons who came out of the house to impress upon them to surrender. But because of Dujana's presence, the other fellow could also not surrender. And ultimately, you know what, when it is like that, it's like that. They started firing, and the quantum of fire from their side was very heavy today. It was retaliated, and both were neutralized. After the operation was over, properly the bodies were identified. And one was Abu Dujana and the other one was Arif. The people on the behest of these militants, maybe coercion or threatening, they tend to come in between the operating parties and the militants, and that's how they get injured or killed. Today also it happened in the same manner, and we lost a civilian's life. Regrettable, but it could have been avoided if the people stay inside and let the security forces do their job. These things won't happen.
Executive Editor Meetu Jain has also been reporting on this huge news since the early morning hours. Meetu, you know, the fact that the killing of Abu Dujana is a huge accomplishment for the security forces was evident in this press conference, with the IG Jammu and Kashmir sounding so determined and resolute, saying that operations will continue irrespective of any obstacles or hurdles in the future.
Determined and resolute is the word, not just in Kashmir but in North Block as well. And even though we know that where Pulwama is concerned, standard operating procedures, if that's the word I can use, are in place. The stone pelters are in place. They've been trying to disrupt the operations of the army and the security forces, and this is what their standard operating procedure has been. Last time around, when Dujana managed to escape. But where the government is concerned, the government's tactic is to cut down internet in the valley. And remember, where the valley is concerned, it's got the highest usage of internet anywhere in the country, 28%. And essentially the sense that the government has is that you need to cut down on the social media, you need to cut down on cyber jihad if you want to cut down on terrorism in the valley. And a determined hard hand and clamping down is the only way in which you can bring the situation down to normal. That's the view from North Block. And what we understand is that Operation Hunt Down is part of a larger picture. And the larger picture, remember, began with the NIA arresting those 7 Hurriyat leaders. The Hurriyat leaders are the ones who've been providing the money and the wherewithal for fomenting trouble in the valley. So we've begun with that. Now we are also going to be spreading out with this Operation Hunt Down, and we are going to be hopefully eliminating more terrorists. Of course, you have Abu Dujana, and then of course you also had Burhan Wani. After Burhan Wani, Dujana is the biggest catch. Of course, the big difference is that Burhan Wani never shot a bullet in his life, and Abu Dujana, it was the South Kashmir commander. So essentially, the bigger picture is that this is a determined effort by North Block to really clamp down on the situation in Kashmir.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Meetu, for joining us. Some breaking news coming in.